This was going to be a huge challenge for the Lakers against the hottest team in the league. But still, blowouts are never fun. And the bottom line, big game, and Rob, Lakers are struggling. And over the last 2 weeks, they've had 3 of their worst losses, and the woes continue a little bit.
Yeah, it would just be nice to say the Jazz are really good and we could just go home and that'd be the show. That's pretty much what it was. I mean, look, the Lakers are struggling a little bit right now. Okay, they're missing their big, engine in the middle, AD. That's bad enough. Then you're missing Schroeder. That really sets them back because you can't run your offense or your defense without 2 major components. You can try and you can fill in here and there, but they have not been able to sustain that. They depend on LeBron quite a bit. And so, the Washington game, 17-point lead, they had to get that one. Because they get that one, that kind of makes them feel good about where they are in the schedule. But going into Utah without AD and Schroeder, that was going to be a tough game. And Utah proved that their record it's not a fluke. They're pretty good.
Yeah, a really good team. They're one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league, and they showed that tonight in the first half. Yeah. They put up 13 threes, I think it was.
14 in the first half.
14, sorry, -1. And if you look at the Lakers, they're really missing Schroeder. I know we're missing AD, but they're really missing Schroeder because you got another guy who can penetrate, who can get his own offense, who can do things of that nature, and you can get LeBron off the ball. Because you look at the way Alex Caruso did, he did it, but he doesn't have that extra gear like a shooter does to get to the hole and get easy buckets, because that's what it's going to take in games like this. When one team is hot from 3 and you're not hot from 3, you need to get some points in the paint, and that's what Schroeder provides for the Lakers when he goes to the bucket and gets those points in the paint.
And we do want to give credit where credit is due, as you both alluded to. The Utah Jazz are playing great basketball. They have the best record in the NBA. In the last 24 games, guys, they're 22-2. And just the last couple of nights, in their last 2 games, they've hit 53s. And tonight, in that category, the Lakers were -42 in threes made. How about that number? -42. They were 22 of 48. The most threes the Lakers had given up this year was 19, but the Jazz lit it up. Rob.
Everybody. Think about it. Conley came out, and he was 4 for 4 in the first half. And this is with Donovan Mitchell not hitting threes in the first half. You got Bogdanovich, you got other guys on the team who are stepping up, knocking down threes. And if you think about it, the Lakers were playing good defense, but sometimes better offense is better than better defense. And so they came out, they was knocking down threes. But what impressed me the most is you watch teams sometimes, but when they play your team, you really watch them. The ball movement, the continuity they had, the precision they had in the offense. When they came off a screen and roll, they attacked. They didn't hesitate or doing those things that guys like to hold a guy up. They attacked over the top to Rudy Gobert or out for a 3. They were precise and sharp.
Rob brings up a great point, James. When you look at the ball handlers they have and Donovan Mitchell and the speed that they have, Mike Conley, crafty guys, Jordan Clarkson, they can run high pick and rolls, but they will attack you and they will move the ball. It's a really unselfish team and a great passing team. And that ball moves. They'll skip pass. They'll set back screens, open up a guy on the weak side for 3. They know what they're doing. And listen, we talked about in the pregame show, consistency with your personnel and your coach in Utah is clicking.
Well, the one word you just mentioned is coach, because he's been looking at what he needs to do to make this team championship ready. They've always been decent, good regular season team. In comes Conley, takes a little pressure off of Donovan, and so he implemented.
Continues, and I know that's a strong word, but when you look at this team, dead last in February in the NBA, and look at them by month. This team was shooting 42%, 13 made per game in December. January, 11.5, shooting 37%. I mean, remember, for a couple of months, they were one of the best Lakers shooting teams we have seen, especially statistically, and a top 3 shooting team in the league. But then February, it has dropped off big time, only making 9 per game and 29%. You look again tonight, 8 for 33, Rob. -42 in that category, just not going to get it done. But I think it stems from a lot of what you talked about. The ball's not moving. Guys aren't as open. Obviously, AD hurts that, Dennis, but that's just the truth. Right now, the offense is just a little stagnant.
Yeah, it's a little stagnant, but the threes are contested threes. I remember when this season first started off, we talked about how the threes they were shooting were wide open threes, and they would knock them down. They just weren't relying on the three ball. And when you're not doing that, you're knocking down those shots and going to the hole and doing things of that nature. So you look at the three-point percentage. It's great. Then it's fallen off because the shots have become a little bit sketchy. The fatigue has become a little bit talked about. The season is going on a little bit longer. These things affect the way you play. And James can tell you, when you go long into the season, the following season, it's hard. It's hard to get those legs. And sometimes the legs will go up and down until after All-Star break is when you get your second energy.
And you're not as concerned. You're just coming off a championship, right? I mean, James, the guys aren't panicked. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah,
it's obviously more fun to win.
They're not panicking, and they know where they've been and what they just come out of. And, honestly, I don't think the three-point shooting is going to get any better. And I hate to sound like a broken record, but your three-point shooting is only as good as your offense is flowing. Ball movement, you got AD down there. He needs to be double-teamed, triple-teamed. You need to have Schroeder breaking down the offense and collapsing and kicking out. And if you don't have that part of your game, you're going to have to find something else. Now, you can hit some threes.
Yeah.
When LeBron pops it back out to you, they had some open look. Wes Matthews got to work on figuring out a way to get open. But they're not double-teaming anybody but LeBron. So, yeah, they're not going to get open threes because when you kick it out to you, the defensive man is right there. He's not coming from 10 feet. So he's got to figure out a way. And, until he can break down the defense somehow, run those plays that Rob was talking about, those curl plays, they got to find a way to get twos and free throws because the threes aren't flowing because nobody's double-teaming anybody.
Remind Laker Nation, we are not panicking one bit. We're just talking about where this team is in the moment. Right, Rob? Or are you panicking a little bit?
I'm panicking.
Sure don't look like it. You have 7 rings. When did you panic?
I panic a little bit because this can become a part of their nature and a part of their culture, just shooting threes. And it's the way of the NBA it is now. You want to shoot threes and you want to keep up with the Joneses.
They're not even attempting that many threes.
Yeah, but you worry about that because now they're not attempting any night because they went up a really good defensive team. So, but during the season they are, and I just want them to just play basketball and try to get buckets and get in the paint and do things of that nature because when you get buckets in the paint, it gets you going. KCP is proof of that because when he's just shooting threes, he's a okay player. When he's going in the hole, getting buckets and getting threes, he's a good player. So, and that's what you want everybody on this team to be consistent and be good players and not just say, okay, we can play the Lakers because all they're going to do is shoot threes. So you got to get some penetration other than LeBron and Caruso and Dennis Schroeder.
All right. Do you want to
my panic is this. My panic is that when they get AD back and they get Schroeder back, are they going to be able to jumpstart and get back to where they were? That's my biggest panic. I think if they can, we know they can shoot the three. They've proven that. That's going to be their biggest challenge. When you're missing players that have been out, can you get back to that style of play going into the playoffs? That's my biggest panic. I'm not really panicked right now if everybody's healthy, but can they reboot and get back, or are they going to, when everyone comes back, are they going to continue to like that same dragging around? Those habits have